Hey guys, it's Nano on the track with my first YouTube tutorial. This tutorial is going to be based off of making a drum pattern. I'm starting with this first because I think it's the most important part of making a beat, because anyone can just grab a loop from YouTube, Looperman, Splice, a drum kit, or a melody sample pack. So for beginners, I feel like this is the most important part. So I'm first going to introduce you guys to FL Studio, and then we're going to get into making the beat. Over here is your menu panel, right here. File, edit, add, patterns, view, options, tools, and help. This is where you would log into FL Studio if you were to buy it, so you could use the full version. Here's where you could access all of your projects, export them, import MIDI files. Here's where you can undo or just hit Control or Command Z. Cut, copy, it gives you the shortcuts right here. Command X and Command C. Because I'm on Mac, you guys might be on Windows, but personally I'm on Mac, so I might cater to people who have this on Mac, but everything else is similar. It's just the shortcuts. The add is specific to plugins. If you don't know what a plugin is, it is basically where you get your sounds from. Um, there's a bunch of free plugins there, like specifically Labs, um, some that come with FL Studio, like Citrus, Sakura. Then some other free ones are Ample Bass, Ample Guitar, and Ample Percussion. Next, we have this right here. This is the hint panel. Whatever you touch with your mouse, it will tell you what it is. It will give you numbers and everything. When I say numbers, I say, let's say I'm at this knob right here and I'm going to change it around. This is the channel panning knob. To pan is to move one sound from ear to ear in your headphones, or from speaker to speaker in your speaker, left or right. So I'm just going to move this. See, on that top left corner it says 15% left. That means that the sound is going that percentage or that number to the left. So I'm just going to reset that. You do that by clicking the right mouse or using two fingers on the Mac, and just click reset right there. Next, we have this little toolbar right here. The main tools that you're really going to use are the pencil, the paint or the brush, the mute, and the cut. At least that's what I mostly use. The pencil is literally to just draw in a pattern, specifically like the pattern 1, which is where our drums are going to be. So I'm going to put them in this little cell right here. That's what it's called on the arrangement view. Paint is similar to draw, it's just that you could do multiple at a time. The delete, this is the delete button right here. You just click it and it goes away. I'm just going to pencil that back in. This is the slip. You put one down and you can drag it wherever you want. This is the cut right here, the slice. We're getting surgical in here. So when you use this tool, you're going to want to zoom in. Let's say you're using it on this melody loop right here, which I'm going to let you guys hear. Alright, let's say I only wanted that second half right there. I would zoom in to where it says 9, because that's where the 8 bars end. And then I would drag. See, you can move it anywhere. You're going to drag straight down, or you're simply just going to click shift. Shift will literally make it a straight line, and it'll give you more of a precise cut. So now we're just going to delete the first half, which is what we didn't want, by clicking the right button on the mouse or using two fingers on Mac, and it will just delete. The song position, we'll move it all the way to the beginning of the sample or the loop, and we're just going to click play to see how it sounds, make sure that we got a good cut. Ooh, yeah. Alright, so we got a clean cut. The way that we know that we got a clean cut was because it looped perfectly, which means that there was no clipping, there was no little space before it played again or it replayed again. It went straight to the beginning of the loop and it transitioned perfectly. So I'm just going to bring this sample back, the whole thing. Alright, next we have this select tool. It's basically what I did when I clicked Command Shift. I selected like this. It's the same thing. You click the select tool and you just drag your mouse. Next is the magnify tool. It's to zoom. I don't really use it because if you follow my cursor right here, if you click right here directly under that X, you can zoom in and out. So I personally don't use it, especially since I'm on Mac. I just use the trackpad and I use two fingers and I zoom in. This is the playback. You literally just bring it to the position that you would like. Let's say I want to hear it from the 11th measure. I would just hold it right here and it'll play back from that section. So in the beginning of this toolbar that we have right here is our menu for the arrangement view. It says right here arrangement. For the arrangement or playlist view, these are all the things you could do. You could change the color of the background by clicking view and grid color and things like that, just to make it feel like your own little space, you know? And then this is the snap to grid. Personally, I like cells, but this snaps to line, to the beat, to the bar, however you want. When I say things like that, I mean that it snaps to, when I say beat, that means every single beat. Boom. This is a beat. Boom, that's a beat. Boom. Boom. Those lines right there. Those are beats. Bar is one little square. Where this pattern 1 goes, that's 1 bar. 2 bars, 3 bars, 4. That's 4 bars right there. Next is this little section right here. Right here where I'm clicking. So this is where you would go to find the patterns that you make other than here, to select them, to put them in the arrangement or playlist view. The patterns that you make, the loops that you have, and the automation clips that you would create. When automation clips are talked about, it's mostly spoken about in mixing and mastering, which we will get into after a couple of weeks and after a couple of tutorials. I will explain all of that. Next is on this right side over here. Here we have the windows. So if I just click this, I just clicked out of the playlist or arrangement window. So I'm going to click back into that. That's this screen right here. This is where you would specifically place all of the beat and the chords and the melodies, place them in the format that you want. The next window, which is this one, is the piano roll. This is where you would create your melodies or simply put in drums. Personally, I like using the channel rack, which is this button right here. Hold on, sorry. This button right here to put in my drums because I find it easier, and you might too, depending on how you like the video. This one is the mixer track. This is where we would mix and master all of our sounds and the whole beat in total, which again, we will get into further down the line. This right here is the browser window. The browser window is where you will pick and choose from all your sounds. Sound selection is very important when it comes to making music because one bad sound could literally ruin the whole beat for someone. So you just pick the sound that you think is best and just stand by it. Unless you're making the beat specifically for someone, you would just ask them, do you like this sound versus this sound and stuff like that. The way to get all of your sounds in here, I have an external hard drive and then I have these little melody packs right here. So what I did was I clicked option, file settings. I'll do it again, option, file settings. And then it'll pop up like this, but you wouldn't have anything in these columns right here. You would just have blanks like this. If I go lower, like that. So you would just click the folder, and then you would click whatever pack you want. It would usually be in my downloads. I would click it from here, or I would just go to my external hard drive and specifically click from there, and it would automatically open to your browser windows. Alright, next is this little section over here. Also these two knobs. First, I'm going to talk about the pattern and song. Pattern is what's in the channel rack. When you click pattern and then click play, it will literally only play what is in the channel rack. So I'm just going to put a snare, a clap and a kick in so you guys can hear. See, the melody that we have right here isn't playing. But if we click song, it will play only what is in the arrangement or playlist window. For example, I'm just going to click play so you guys can hear it. See? So that's what this is. If you only want to specifically hear the chord or the piano that you're using, you would create a new pattern over here by pressing X. Name it if you would like, pick a color, and then work on your piano. Then you could put it into the playlist, see how it sounds, and click play. And if you don't like the way that it sounds, you could do it while just putting the pattern back into here, doing the piano while you're listening to whatever is already in the playlist and arrangement window. I'm just going to go back here to pattern 1. Okay, this is to record anything. If you like to play your sounds in, or if you like to play in the piano, or if you're about to set someone up to record vocals, you would just click record and this window will pop up. You would have to choose. I like when they ask because sometimes I want to choose. The Edison audio editor is to edit vocals, like to delete things and to take away, to put fade-ins if you want to do it through there. It's mostly used for samples. I usually just record audio into the playlist. If I'm playing the drums or if I'm playing the piano, I would record notes in automation. And then there's everything, which I usually never use personally. But if you're not going to record, you always have to click this off, especially when you're finished. Because if not, it'll just continue to record. Obviously, this is the play and stop button. This is where you choose your BPM or beats per minute. It automatically gives you a BPM list, so you could pick from there. Like this one is in 140, so you would just click 140 instead of having to move around numbers. You would just go directly to the number. You could also tap in your BPM with the tempo tapper. You could find it through here by right clicking and clicking tap, or you could simply just click right here. That's the tempo tapper, and you would just, this is mostly used if you want to replicate a song that you like. You would just sit there, listen to the song, and just tap your mouse or spacebar to the beat of the song. And then it'll automatically set the BPM to that tempo. So we're just going to bring it back to 140. Here is the metronome. It just keeps you on beat, especially if you're playing stuff in. It's good to put on. This is wait for input to start playing. So you would just connect something. As soon as you connect it, you would start playing. This is the 3, 2, 1 countdown before recording. Let's say I was recording notes and automation. I would click play. It would give me the 1, 2, 3, and then I would start playing. This is typing keyboard to play piano. So if you don't have a MIDI piano or a drum pad, you could literally just use the keys of your keyboard on your laptop to play the piano if you have this button selected. And that's all that I would really have selected. That's what I use. This tells the time. You could change it. You could have the bar, beat, step, tick, which means that it'll tell you what bar you're on, at what beat, and the same thing with this. I personally like to have the minute, second, centisecond on because I don't want to go over a certain time limit on my songs. I usually like to go 2 minutes and 30 seconds. This is the undo. This is cut, one click audio recording, help, save, render as an audio file, and view project information. These knobs right here are for the master volume and the master pitch. I usually don't touch them. I wouldn't mess with them either. I've just left them alone because you can control the master volume with this, and you don't really want to mess with the pitch of a song, especially if you've been working on the song for so long in that pitch. You don't really want to change it. This right here, this little knob, is the song position. It's the same thing as this that I'm moving right now, right here. It'll start at the middle of the song right there. See, it's on the eighth bar around. Okay, since we really went into depth about FL Studio, we're now going to make the beat to this sample right here. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys the piano roll first, how it will look right now, and how it will look after we put the drums in. In the piano roll, with the kick and the clap or snare, depending on which one you want to use, those are the first drums that you want to start with. The kick always starts on the first beat in the first bar, right here, directly in front of the keyboard right there. The snare or clap usually and most likely always starts on the third beat. So it could sound like this. Oh wait, the pattern is not in, sorry. So you get that, and then you would just put the clap on every third beat of every bar. We're only going to go up to the fourth bar, which means that the last clap that you put in is right here. So I'm just going to Command A and Command B, and that selects and basically duplicates over. So I'm just going to click play so you guys can hear how that would sound. Personally, I don't do this because I don't know much of theory, and I don't really know, or I didn't really know what the beats were and stuff like that. But I have used programs like Logic Pro X and Ableton, which helped me with that. So the way to look at it is this first beat right here would be considered 1.1. This second line in the first beat would be considered 1.2, and then 1.3, 1.4, and then this is 2.1 or 1.5. So you would just look at it like that throughout the whole song. This is 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4. So when I say put it on the third beat, that means you'd put it on the 0.3 or the third line from the first beat of every measure. If I say put it on the first, put the first kick on the first beat, you put it on the first beat. So that's what I mean by that. If you're more of a person who wants to learn how to draw it in, I'm sorry. I'm not really used to doing that. I mostly just use the channel rack. The channel rack works so much easier in my opinion. So what I do is I always put the kick on the first beat. Oh, sorry. The kick on the first beat right there. This ungrayed portion of the channel rack is considered to be the one cell or one beat or one measure. This little thing that I just highlighted is this square right here that is not grayed out. So you're going to put the clap on every third or every other gray part, or 1.3. This is 1.3 right here, right there where I'm clicking. That's 1.3. So every other gray, you put a clap. So we're just going to go through that until we get to right here, this line right here, right there, till we get to that cell. After we get to that cell, or the fourth bar, we stop putting in the claps. So I'm just going to put them in really quick. Alright, next we're just going to finish putting in the kicks. So I'm just going to highlight this to make it only loop there. How you do that is you right click, if you have a mouse, you right click and you drag until where you want. If you have a Mac, you just use two fingers and you do it. So I'm going to click play to listen to what we have. Alright, so personally, I have noticed that the kick and the clap usually only go well on the odd numbers. When I say odd numbers, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. They usually only go well on the 1 and the 2. If not, they sound delayed and off beat. So, as someone who is creating music and you want the song to be on beat or sound on beat and not delayed, you would just transfer, or you would alter between 1 and 2, 1 and 2. When I say that, I mean 1 and 2, these 1 and 2 right here. So I'm just going to click play and we're going to alter and shift between that. Alright, now I'm only going to listen to the pattern because I want to put the rim shot in. The rim shot should make it more bouncy. Alright, so the rim shot is the same thing with the clap and the kick. You put it on the 1 and 2, never on the 2 and 4. Alright, you want the odd numbers, not the even numbers, alright? Alright, so the rim shot is supposed to give it more bounce, more oomph, alright? So let's listen to how that sounds now. I think that sounds great. If I were a beginner, I would honestly practice just putting down the claps or the snares and the kick first, and then I would go into the rim shot, or any other percussion that you would want to put into the beat, whatever sounds good in your ears. I would hold off on doing it at first because I would want to get used to just simply putting down the basics of the beat. And another basic of the beat is the hi-hat. So with the hi-hat, a good feature that they put in to FL Studio is if you right click or use two fingers on Mac on the hi-hat where it says right here, it comes down, a little menu comes down. On the right side it says fill each 2, 4, and 8 steps. In a regular trap beat, R&B beat, you would just have every 2 steps filled, and it would look like this. And it would sound like this. So with the beat basically done, I'm just going to add some variation to the hi-hats. In order to add variation to the hi-hats, it's the hi-hat rolls which we create. You could do it here or you could do it in the piano roll. I'm going to show you both. So the hi-hat rolls basically sound like this. I put one right here. I put an extra hi-hat right there. I filled the space. Since every two steps, I just filled one step. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna play that again. See, it gave it a little spice. It gave the beat a extra little kick. So those are my hi-hat rolls. I'm gonna go into the piano roll so you can see how they look. These are the rolls right here. It may not look like it because they're small, so I'm just gonna select all of them. I'm gonna drag them to the end. The rolls are the ones that are overlapping right here. Another way to create the roll is if you press the brush tool. I don't know why I cannot speak today, guys. You click the brush tool and you just shrink this. That's a roll right there. See how small that looks? I'm just gonna click play. Excuse me. this adds variation to the beat. That just adds some variation to the beat, and honestly, it makes it sound a lot better from what we had before. Before it was just bland, and that just shows that any little thing that you do to a beat can honestly just make it so much better. So now I'm just gonna take this away, and that's basically the whole beat. So I'm gonna click play, and I'm going to put this over here, and we're just gonna hear the whole thing. So I just heard this, and I'm gonna do a little something. I clone it, and you right click on the clone, and you click split by channel. It gives you everything that you just did separately. These are the different patterns of the different drums that you've used. So I'm just gonna put them at the end over here to make the transition to the beginning sound better, because it's a different part. So I'm just gonna click some stuff in without the hi-hats. I'm just gonna chop it up, specifically the kick right there. All right, let's listen to that, to how that sounds now. Alright guys, if you found this tutorial helpful, just subscribe, comment, and like it, and hopefully you'll come back for the next video that I make, and I believe that's going to be on melodies and chord progressions. Stay safe and enjoy making music.